We got the Suntour Deluxe 2025 edition. So I just did a little research. Can't even buy this in the United States, so we're gonna make this a quick video. We're gonna do a setup and then see if this thing is worth any good. So I did an extensive set of videos on the Duralux before, so let's take a look at this one. So right away, black and white lettering looks very promising. And whoever packed this new fork, used fork, found on Facebook, did a pretty amazing job. So this is 100% a mystery Suntour Duralux, but from the condition of it, it has very low miles or it is brand new. So I'm guessing it's a brand new takeoff, so you take that with a grain of salt. So on my previous Suntour Duralux 38, I said this fork sucked. And it did suck, but I love cheap stuff, so I bought another one. So first glance at here, we have PCS. It took a long time to learn all the stuff on the last Duralux, so it should go pretty smooth. So PCS looks like it has the same air spring system, a downgraded damper with only low speed compression, but that's a good thing because the previous model, the high speed compression, did basically nothing. So let's get the scale out. So it's kind of funny, I'm looking for this Suntour Duralux spec sheet and the only thing I can find is like literally like sellout reviews from Pink Bike and Bike Rumor and SBM. I want to get some specs from Suntour and I can't even find anything on Google. Anyway, maybe for the better. All right, boys and girls, we're going in blind. So let's see how much she weighs. The previous one was a pretty heavy girl. So this one coming in at 5 pounds and 6 ounces. And if you're a kilogram guy, that's 2 kilograms, 455 grams. So they have made this a little bit lighter and it's only like 5 grams heavier than a Fox 38. So number one thing you should know is not to let weight scare you away. Basically, tune mass damper, they're literally adding weight to a fork. A 7-pound coil fork, Fox 38 with a Vorsprung coil in it, weighs 7 pounds. It is the most confident fork you've ever felt on chunky terrain. So this fork weighing 5 pounds, 6 ounces, it's only a little bit heavier than a Fox 38. So a Fox 36 Rhythm comes in at 4 pounds, 13 ounces. You wouldn't even be able to tell the difference as far as weight on the trail, and especially if you're riding like big bikes, e-bikes, etc. So this fork looks pretty high quality. NSMB is like the only information I can find on this fork, so it retails about 800 bucks. But like I said, I can't even find it in the United States on the internet. So the first step we're gonna do is basically check out some clickers and see what kind of tokens we got inside of here before we go do the setup part of the video. So I saw somewhere online that Suntour makes a high-low speed rebound adjuster, and this is the mystery fork, so who knows which one it is. It's probably a used new takeoff. So here's the rebound. We do have plus and minus on the back. What they really should have is slower and faster because the target market for this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's got like 20 clicks of rebound. So these little mounts right here, I remember this from the last one. It's probably the same lower casting. Oh, it is used. We found some wear marks. That's from a bike rack. So these little marks right here, these little tabs, this is the same casting as the last Duralux I had. These are actually ABS mount, Bosch ABS mounts. So what that tells me is this is probably a dry fork, meaning there's no oil inside the lower legs. Oh man, we gotta take it apart. Oh, there's oil under there. Maybe there's oil in the lower legs. Okay, just to be 100% clear, Suntour suspension is throwaway suspension, very similar to a Kia, a Hyundai. You're not gonna keep it for a long time. This toolbox is a $1,200 Harbor Freight toolbox. It's a throwaway toolbox. You can't get parts for it. Suntour has an absolutely amazing list of athletes who ride this stuff, so I'm pretty sure it's pretty decent. So if I say it sucks, just don't get super offended. So the previous Duralux I had was a completely clapped out one. I traded a bunch of nice Fox suspension for it just so I could make videos. So I discovered it was actually a good thing it was a very clapped out used one. Is they used a dry system in here, no lower leg fluid, and the bushings were absolutely torched. And I was like, it's making a noise. So it was the bushings being worn out. So reviewing an old clapped out product is actually pretty good for long-term reliability. So we're gonna see if this one is dry. Oh, we got lower leg fluid in there. So she's got a bass in there. That's a good thing. We're taking a look at the bushings and the foam O-rings in here. This is a super low mile fork. And it's good to see that they did correct the issue of having a dry lower leg system. Obviously, it's gonna just destroy the bushings if there's no oil inside of there. The grease system from the previous fork just didn't have the best long-term reliability. So I am tempted to go a little further on here, but we gotta ride this in the stock configuration because I learned that from my last video. You gotta ride it how it comes out of the factory first, and then tear it apart, maybe do a little modifying. So I'm gonna put some lower leg fluid back inside of here. I have Fox 20 weight gold oil. This stuff is absolutely garbage. What it does is it clogs the foam O-rings. I've discovered recently, all this stuff does is clog foam O-rings. We're gonna put some RockShox oil inside of here. We're gonna put 10 cc in each lower leg. Hopefully that's right. Take this apart later in the day. If you're ever wondering what suspension I would personally take, it's currently on my bike. EXT E-Storia, Fox 38, Grip X. No confusing rebound adjusters. A pretty good fork for all intended purposes. I do like to make videos of tons of different products, but that would be my 100% go-to setup, of course, if your budget permits. Running into one big problem here, so it's a direct mount 203 post on the lower leg casting itself. Very similar to DVO, it's kind of like the anti-SRAM movement, which I'm okay with, but direct mount 203 is a really dumb idea. So I'm just gonna run it with like this much of the brake pad hanging over the rotor. It still works, but I'm only gonna ride this for like a week or something. So I figured to go with the Suntour, we get the cheapest shock pump on Amazon, and this one is a Elso War. Love these Chinese names, they're so creative. Dude, the handle on this thing is legendary because it's so big. So it's currently 8:15 in the morning and it's 79 degrees in here. It's so hot. So we're gonna take a look at this water filter. This company wants me to do a mini review of. So we'll try to incorporate it into the summer vibes. There's some pretty high promises with the Epic water filters. So let's unbox it. Shoot. We're gonna put some lovely hose water in here and then let it bake in the garage and see what it tastes like. So back to the Duralux. So since it is the mystery fork, we've got about 170 millimeters of travel as advertised. 34 millimeters. Oh, that was a good guess. It's right at 30 millimeters. And it took about 80 PSI. All right, this is kind of a ridiculous combination with like EXT E-Storia and a Suntour. So let's go get a new coil shock on this bike. Only coils in here. Should we go Cane Creek, Fox DHX2, or DVO? Okay, so I decided to go for the DVO just to keep things matchy-matchy. Suntour, DVO, they are different, but they are a little bit the same. So we got Fox springs. We're gonna use the Springdex centering clips. I love these amalgamation of parts. We got DVO, Suntour, Springdex, Mystery, and then we're gonna put Fox hardware on it. So it's version 1 EXT spring, 575, so we're gonna give a little extra preload. Look at that, that is a crazy device right there. So I'm honestly more curious about the coil shock at this time because I put the new spring on it. But let's look at the package. Okay, we got the high performance EXT spring, custom tuned DVO Jade Suntour Voro. Ooh, that feels pretty good. So we'll check out the package. Rear is softer than the front. Oh, the motor turned off. My superpowers are gone. We gotta go back. Full turbo. It's the only way to ride your e-bike. So there's 2 tokens in there. So I didn't feel like it's clapping out too hard. They put the sag indicator on the compression side, which is kind of weird. It feels like a mid-tier fork. Probably just call the video here. Okay, moving into the dyno run. 3-foot hook to flat, 6-foot hook to flat. So first impression on the new Suntour, it's definitely improved from the previous one with the high-speed compression knob. So don't let knobs fool you. It's more about the valving inside of it. So I have it 3 clicks from fully slow, and it felt kind of weird because now the rebound is like, it feels kind of sluggish, but then it kind of feels fast at the same time. So it's got some funky internal valving in it. It's a budget fork. I could fully live with it. It's not the board, it's the rider. Or for bikes, I guess it's the rider, not the bike. Like you give me any surfboard and I can go surf any wave. Because I surfed for 20 years and I only biked for like 3 years. So the rebound valving is pretty funky. On a positive note, the 2 tokens in there, it does have the right progression level. So I don't need to rinky dink with tokens. And why they put the sag indicator on the compression side. Okay, adjustment time. So the fork is sluggish. Once again, they have like too much valving on the rebound side. So the nature of this fork is tuned in the slower control department. Give it a couple of clicks of low. You're only supposed to adjust 1 at a time, but try and get it over with. See if it gives it a little more life with 3 clicks in the faster or fastest direction. Okay, run 2, pretty much fully dialed. There's nothing left to adjust. So the whole system suspension, like understand like DVO, Suntour Voro, whatever, and the fork, it's like a little bit sluggish. Like it took me a lot of energy to get through this section right here, like to get the bike into the travel so I could translate into some like really awesome control in technical terrain. As far as the jibbing department, I'm a pretty big guy. So I don't have any problem moving the bike around, especially clipped in and being so big. But if you're like a smaller rider, no offense to any smaller people out there, everybody is just the size they are. This could be a little bit of a sluggish combination of suspension to get like moving with its current internal valving, but that's to be decided. So I'm trying to learn how to ride steeper jumps or actually get better at biking a little bit. So we're gonna try it out over here. Okay, run 1 felt really good. Okay, the fork felt really good through that section, and it kind of verifies what I thought on the warm-up run. The rebound is just incredibly slow. I have it in the full fast setting, and I had perfect control through the steeper lips. But we got to get this fork into some chunky trails. The next day, I took the Duralux out into some more chunky route sections, and let me tell you how this fork runs. It is absolutely impressive in the most challenging of terrain. Its extraordinarily slow internal valving on the rebound department gives this fork insane levels of control and confidence. The DVO Jade, or the Suntour Voro mashup shock, was an excellent pick. So if you understand damping theory, these have kind of like an old school vibe to them that do really good on natural terrain in those chunky roots. So the compromise is they don't pedal very good, but when you put them in some challenging terrain, truly impressive performance. So it's all about what you like. So this is like one of my favorite trails. Very easy, soft loamer with a bunch of jibs and jumps. And this suspension system, to be honest, is not very good. That massive level of control that was amazing on the top part of the hill translate into not as poppy and friendly. And basically I was trying to force my surfy style and got a little bit out of control in this section. I'm pretty stoked to tell you, the Suntour Duralox, it doesn't fully suck, it only like partially sucks now. That fork is pretty incredible through the chunky root sections. It's just the blue flow trails. It's a little bit sluggish. They got the rebound way too slow. I'm 100 kilograms, 220 pounds. I need to pull a couple shims out of the rebound side to make that to my liking, but the compromise is it's amazing in the chunky trails. More control. If you're a lightweight rider, you would probably struggle with that rebound tune. But I'm not gonna take that one apart unless it gets like a ton of views and comments, because anything I make that doesn't have the word Fox on it, nobody's interested in. But I am pleased to tell you, the Duralox is an upgrade from Fox 36 Rhythm, even my custom valved 36 Rhythm. The 36 Rhythm has this thing called mid-stroke hammock. It just like sticks in the middle part of the travel and then it'll spike up, even with the custom valves in here. The air spring on the Duralox is really impressive, and they did correct some of the damper issues and the lower leg fluid inside of it. So that's a good thing. So it's not performance that sells a fork, and Suntour made a big boo-boo by removing the high-speed compression knob, because when you look at this, you're like, it's missing high-speed compression. Even though like some of the best marketed suspension in the world, DHX2, the high-speed compression knob does basically nothing. So they made a big boo-boo there, and hopefully they watch this video, because every time I complain about something in a video, like a couple months later, I'm like, they fixed it. They made a cheaper one, or they did something. So is it coincidence, or are they watching my videos? Who knows? But we gotta test the hose water and the $80 Amazon filter from Epic Water. Tastes like bottled water here, guys. It's pretty expensive, but it's definitely a hell of a lot better than a Brita. So once again, leave some comments, likes if you want to see me custom tune the Duralox. Otherwise, it's getting the hell out of here, because while Donald Trump is making America great again, the exchange rate in Canada is really bad. So I got a whole bunch of new forks, like a $1,600 EXT fork that was $300 with the exchange rate. So Suntour playlist right here if you're interested in the cheap stuff, because I like the cheap stuff too. Hope you liked the video.